Hi, today is January 15, 2025, and I haven't made a video in quite some time, but the video today is an update of my real estate journey since I started. I guess I should say not just started, but the first uh, bank-owned property that I closed escrow on was October 24th, 2023. And by the end of 2024, I had purchased 8 REOs or real estate owned, which also means they're foreclosed properties. And then I also bought one fourplex. Um, and mainly the reason I buy REOs is because I am a REO listing agent out here in Las Vegas. I used to also sell them in California when I was living there before 2020. So I wanted to make this video because there's a bunch of things that I have learned along the way, little tips that, you only know it if you do it. And so this past 14 months was a lot of trial and error. I am a little bit ahead of other investors because I've been in the real estate industry as a realtor and a broker since 2001. And my husband is also a mortgage lender broker. I used to be a loan officer as well and a loan processor. So I'm pretty familiar with this side and the industry. So I am a full-time real estate professional. But I stopped investing after the 2008, the great financial crisis. I lost about 10 properties. And back then there wasn't YouTube videos to watch to learn all these things. So it took me a while, but I finally made the jump into buying investment properties again. And I did try to buy in Las Vegas, but there's just really no room. And after talking to a lot of people, I just ended up going to Southern Indiana. Okay, so I had listened to one of the bigger pockets videos, and they were mentioning Evansville, Indiana. So after buying several properties on the right side here, which is my BRRR experience, I've flipped 2 properties in Ohio, and then the rest of the other properties I pretty much have been buying and holding. And my strategy has been to buy these bank-owned properties that are being sold at auctions. And if you listen to some of my previous YouTube videos, I show you exactly how to research and make your bids on the auction websites. And the ones that I have been using and buying are from auction.com and zome.com. There's Hubzu, but I haven't really been paying attention to that website. I didn't find any properties that I like to buy. So, I just wanted to share again my journey so far, and it's been fun. I've never been this busy just buying up properties, and it's kind of funny because I'm like not even bothering with trying to get transactions as a listing agent or a buyer's agent here in Las Vegas because I'm having a lot more fun buying these properties in another state. And it's fun because I'm able to buy them at a discount, the 50 to 60 cents on the dollar. But I just learned something new recently, and I wanted to share with you. So if you can see the screen on my left side, when you buy a property that's bank owned, okay, so this is a property details report that I mentioned that you can get, but only through me. I can get your information and set you up to be able to pull a property details report on any property that you want to look at. This is actually a property I'm in escrow. I'm supposed to close like in the next couple of days. So I mentioned that I look at properties that were last sold in 2020 or earlier because during that time, as you know, COVID, it made everybody overbid on properties. So this property, and then let me just also mention that I partnered up with a few other people because I basically ran out of money. Okay. I had money from liquidating my credit cards, and I had one private money lender loan me money, and it was someone that I know well. And I ran out of money, so I'm partnering up with people, but I always look for second chance foreclosures to buy. Okay. So these are mostly properties that were insured by HUD. So if you look here, it says FHA, and the person got a loan for 109,971. Let me scroll down a little bit here so you can see. So they took out a loan because FHA, you have to put down 3.5%. Their loan amount. Yeah, sorry, this is not working out the way I want it to show. So they bought the house for $100,870. And when it got foreclosed, the sheriff's deed was 100,870. So in the state of Indiana, the day that it goes to auction, if nobody buys it, it goes back to the bank. There's no redemption period, so this is really good, but it doesn't get recorded until sometimes 2 months later, so you don't know what the sheriff's deed amount is. So this one tells me that the bank was willing to take 100,000. However, for whatever reason, we're in escrow for $87,555. So what I just learned, what I'm trying to say is that this property, this homeowner took out two different loans, one for $3,051 and one for $10,739. Okay, this is not the loan amount for when they purchased it. Okay, so this likely, if you look at this date, they probably asked for some kind of COVID forbearance. Okay, as you know, a lot of people just didn't pay their mortgage, and they didn't have to, and they didn't have to prove anything. You just said it was COVID, so they got some more money from HUD. So I'm about to close this deal, and we find these two liens on here. It's an additional lien that was on title. And I want to read you an email after we were about to close escrow, what the title company said. Okay, let me pull up this other one. It's very important because I had closed one with a HUD lien on it, and I had to go with a different title company that would insure it. Okay, so in July of 2024, there was a national, let me open this up. There's a national underwriting standards that have changed dramatically over the past few months, and it has caused quite the stir in the loan servicing and title world. Our guidance from our underwriters as of around July, August. Judicial foreclosures of HUD-held partial claims carry a 1-year right of redemption from the sale date. Non-judicial foreclosures of HUD-held partial claims actually survive foreclosure. However, HUD has put a mechanism in place to have lenders holding the bag on these ones to submit for release of lien, to which HUD has been receptive. The property that I purchased was closed judicially. So even though the property has been foreclosed on by the first lien holder, If HUD has a lien on that property, it will be 1 year from the date of that foreclosure from the first lien. So in my case, they foreclosed on the property October 16, 2024. This will not, the lien will not go away until, I guess, October 2025, but I want to close now. So I was told that the only closing agent that will provide title insurance to the new lender if the borrower is financing would be ServiceLink. Okay, so I am going and getting a hard money loan to buy this property, and this lender requires that that title issue insurance. You know, even though there's two liens here, that's like almost $13,000. But the seller was using Ultra Escrow, and even though I advised that ServiceLink is the only one who will close it, apparently Ultra Escrow is willing, or whoever their title that they use, I forgot who it is, but we can close on it. Okay, so, but this is very important when you're researching the property to see what liens. So now you see, here's the first mortgage for 100,000, but these smaller ones are also HUD. They're gonna stay. So that's one thing that was new that I hadn't dealt with before came up. Okay, there's ways around it, but you have to be aware. It doesn't get wiped out in the foreclosure. Okay, so that's one thing I learned. And then the next thing I wanted to share was I formed about, if you see on this screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have like 6 LLCs. Some are with other partners. One is my holding company, and I screwed up the first time when I started out. I started buying real estate in my holding company, but that's not right. So then I realized you can form an LLC and partner with someone, and you both could be the members and own the LLC that's buying that property to hold. Okay. You want to be a managing member, okay, not just a member, and there's like differences on that. And if you're going to buy and hold, you can form your LLC in that state, but then it's owned by your Wyoming LLC. Okay. So that will always be there. And then just know that at the end of the year, when you file your taxes, the Form 1065 is for partnerships. So I'll probably make another video, but in 2024 is when I had a lot of, closings and all that. So this will be my first year filing my taxes. And I may end up just learning how to file this 1065 because my accountant or tax preparer says he charges $250 to do one of those 1065. So it can get pricey. I have, what did I just say, 6 LLCs now. I do form the LLCs myself. I originally paid another company to do it, but it's super easy. Nobody sees your information when you're filling it out, even on the EIN. So you can use your address and stuff like that. But as far as the LLC, I go to the Secretary of State and I fill out and just pay the filing fee. I don't pay. And everybody uses the same operating agreement. And when I say that, that means that if you go to some company and then they do the operating agreement for you for that state, it's the same for all the other states. And then you can just tweak it if you want. But that would save you a lot of money as well. And then you file the annual report yourself. I have a spreadsheet that I keep track of all my properties. Okay, so, and then the next one, or back to LLCs, and when you form it, I don't know why I was under the impression that I had to put my spouse on the LLC. You actually do not have to put your spouse on there. If you're in a community state, any properties you buy and stuff like that will be split with them if were married, and then you went and acquired properties. So in like California, Nevada, that's a community property state. And the reason I bring this up is that my husband was so busy working on his business. I was having him be on the LLCs, and then it took time. He had to sign paper, and he was just like, he gave me carte blanche to go buy properties. But then when I was signing loan docs, he had to sign. He would always ask me, what's this for? What's that? And he was putting on his lender hat and asking all these questions. And I swear it was just slowing me down. So now I realize I'm taking him off the LLCs that I have, and you take someone off by amending your operating agreement. Okay. And when you work with some of these hard money lenders and DSCR, they will help you, so long as the file hasn't been submitted to an underwriter for review, it's easier to make those changes. So at the end of the day, when loan docs comes around, I want to be the only one signing for it because I am the managing member. I manage the day-to-day uh, operations of all the properties and stuff like that. So it really should be me because I know what's going on. Um, okay, so where I'm at right now is I've bought 8 REOs and 1 fourplex that was on the market in 14 months. So I don't think that was so bad, not so shabby. And I've been searching for PMLs, private money lenders. I, as some of you may know, I belong to the Sub 2 Pace Morby Facebook group, and I joined that. It's worth the money. So if anybody tells you it's not, it's really what you make of it. But I joined that Facebook group to network, and it's paid it's for itself already because all the people that I've met and partnered with are from that community. And when I need anything, I just reach out and people respond. Um, so after doing, and then, okay, here's the next thing I wanted to share, which is people out there who say, hey, they can do your hard money, they can be a hard money lender, they can loan your deal under $100,000. It's all great, but at the end of the day, if you have good credit, um, you can get a loan pretty much anywhere. It will all come down to the fees that are charged. Okay. So if you're working with a broker, that broker charges you a certain amount, and then they take it to a different lender. They may have 50 lenders they work with, and then that lender also charges you points. So when I first started out, I just went ahead and I would pay more just to get the experience for someone to hold my hand to do the deal. There really wasn't anybody holding my hand, and I brought on like more partners than I probably should have. Like my first deal, we ended up having 3 partners, and I was okay with it because you know what? I was still learning, but I got lucky because I bought the deal so low. And I'll use the number, which is I bought it for 60,000 and it was worth 150. And then the renovations was supposed to be only 20,000, but that contractor subcontracted everything out. And it was just right after Thanksgiving. And then I don't know, 20,000 repairs turned into 40. And then I had to we bought out one of the partners, and then we tried to sell it, and buyer backed out, and then I had to pay back the contractor. So we ended up refinancing, and then it ended up being a Section 8 rental, but I was still able to cash out and a refinance cash out at I think it was 75% or something like that, not 80 yet. And then I still have money. I mean, I still had money, so that's why it was a great deal when you buy it low. And these lenders, so on the refinance side, so let me just go back and say And I kept trying to go find somebody better, another lender to use, okay? I've gone through five already. And I came back to the first guy. And here's what's really funny is, so I went to my friends, I went to my, I was raising capital. I asked friends, I was like, hey, look, I would borrow your money for 90 days or maybe 120 days, and I'll pay you a flat fee. Most of my deals have come out to like 12% to 20% interest only, so they make so much more money. My friend, she put it in a CD and made 3%. So she was 60,000. She made 3% in 6 months. She made 900 bucks. And I told her, hey, I'm going to give you a flat fee of 6,000 for 6 months. So she went and became my private money lender. Okay. So I was doing that with family and friends because I rather they make money rather than, giving it to some other broker and company. But God, I read in a blank. So the first hard money lender, they also did DSCR. Okay. They've seen me do this and I buy at such great deals. So he offered to become my lender. And we were going to do a 70-30 split. And I still have him needing to answer me because he wants to later on have a portfolio of deals. And I forgot what the heck he's going to do with them. So I'm still needing some clarity. But let me just say now that if I go find properties, he's going to be there fronting up all the money for me. And I no longer have to run around and look for it. And then they get their money back when we refinance it. Okay, so that's my exciting news after being able to do this for the last 14 months. And so if you are still interested in doing this, the one thing I am able to do, and I'm going to give you this tip, is you must be able to get inside the property to look at it, and then you know how much money you need to rehab it. Um, and here's the funny thing, depending on where you buy, what state. So I'm in Southern Indiana. The home is still really affordable and there's jobs. Today is January, California is burning like crazy. And, Vegas, I guess all the people from California are going to run to Vegas to buy a house too, because it's still cheaper to live in Vegas than it is in California. But people who live in Vegas can't afford it here. So I'm buying 2 bedroom, 1 bath houses. Yes, they're old, 1930, 1957. I think I just bought one. This one I'm showing you here is like built in 1899. So I plan to flip this one. I don't want to keep it. It's a weird 4 bedroom, 1.5 bath. But let me go back. The 2 bedroom, 1 bath, I have one for 600 square feet. I have one that's a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, uh 888 square feet. It's really small, but I want to share something with you guys. I rented out for $1,700 with a midterm rental. So I'm working with another sub-2 student who, um, hosts about 50 of these, right? And we've been working together because his stepfather is a contractor, and so is his brother. They turned these rehab for me over in like 3 weeks, and we furnish it. And before I even make my first mortgage payment, I've got a renter in there already. And so I'll use a number for you. And I have to furnish it. Don't get me wrong. So one time I went and I bought, people were selling the whole 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, all of their furniture that was used as an Airbnb. I picked them all up and then I brought it back and then I furnished these properties because a 2 bedroom can cost you about $8,000 to furnish everything, right? So I found liquidators for appliances. So there's a guy I found in Indiana or Southern Indiana that sells 70% off his appliances. And then you got to go to liquidators and stuff like that just to get discount prices. And I rent them for 1,700. So after I pay the all my utilities, um, I make about $400, and this is after me refinancing, pulling out 80% cash out. And so I basically get all my money back out and I cash flow. But I leave the money inside the bank account, and I create a bank account for every property that I buy if it's a different LLC. I just keep it that way, just, not commingle everything. And leave the money in there for so when I have something break down, the rents still cover and pay. And then I found an insurance broker that is able to do a master policy. So long as I'm the main person, he's still able to do different LLCs under one master plan. And you know what? That saves me money too. Um, okay, so there's that. And what else is there? I don't know, I can't think of anything right now. But it's just you have to jump in and do it. I make mistakes, I pay for it. I will tell you that when I deal with the brokers finding me the loan, a lot of them I hated. They were terrible at communication. They never explained anything. And you know what? But they did the work. I went ahead and closed it, but I definitely will not ever come back to them to do another deal. I found out that these rehab or the hard money loans that give you money to rehab, it's basically your own money, okay? And then they actually put a down payment, and then you put the money in, and then when you finish rehabbing, you ask them for the draw and you take back your money out to rehab it. Okay. And then I found, here's the ultimate thing that I'm going to share. I found a bank, it's that only charges 795 lender fees, right? And then the third party fees are you have to pay for it. And there's no prepayment penalty. This is huge. So one of the properties I just refinanced, I want to show you these numbers, okay? This is the first time I went through them. And so what happened is when you do hard money loans, sometimes those brokers make like here's a number I'll use. I bought the property for 101,000 actually, and then they take $7,500 fees and broker. And it's like, so it eats up your money when you're trying to refinance. So this bank I found, I have to give them more paperwork, but they only charge $795 right here. Okay. And then no prepayment penalty. They don't do hard money. They will do DSCR, but their service coverage ratio is 1.45. Okay, it's not 1.25. But and then they will do a blanket mortgage, a blanket loan, sorry, a blanket loan, but it has to be under the same LLC. Okay, you cannot use different ones. So, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with paying $795 versus like $7,500. Okay, this is like make or break you. So I'm gonna continue using them. You do have to show them your tax returns, and yeah, they wanted my tax returns. So that's huge. So when you know this, but some of you, I'm self-employed, so I have to go this route. And just so you know, some of these guys do a soft pull, some will do a hard pull, but DSCR, here's the great thing, does not show up on your credit, okay? It will, what would they do? Let me think here. I just ran a blank. You have to be a personal guarantor, okay? So DSCR the loan does not show up on your credit, but you are still a personal guarantor, all right? So anyways, I'm sorry I dragged this long because I can talk. Oh, and on the lending side, you need to some have a minimum FICO of 640, some is 680. Some only pull one credit bureau, some pull all three and take the middle. So you just have to ask them upfront. But again, I just wanted to preface that these hard money and DSCR loans, they're all the same. And at the end of the day, you kind of have to look at what their fees are. And if you don't have a good credit score, they'll take you. But hey, it's the opportunity cost of making money. Anyways, I gotta go. These dogs are barking. I don't want them talking more. So if you have any questions, if you need help, shoot me an email or leave me a comment. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.